So, hello and welcome to another episode of the Turn 5 podcast, where this week it is just me and Ben, as Chris has pulled an absolute wet wipe of an excuse and says he doesn't feel very well. Weak behavior. I've just recovered from the worst bout of flu of my life, and here I am, hosting, ever present.
Yeah, I'm on holiday, so
I mean, he's fully abroad and still got more commitment than Chris. What's that tell you, eh? Anyway, we are here to talk about
Beyond not
stuff went down, the stuff that went down in Singapore. I guess we should start with the hour delay. What do you make
that
of
was
that?
fun. Well, considering we got there and then Cyprus is 2 hours in front, so then pretty much the whole time I've been like, "Oh, the race is at 1," but here it was at 3, and it got delayed till 2, and obviously it was 2 o'clock here, so I was like, "Oh, the race should be starting." No,
2 hours yet.
yeah, so that was fun.
I mean, it's bringing up the debate of we have wet weather tires. Use them.
Yeah, it was quite hard for me to understand that, considering I couldn't see what was going on because in Cyprus they decided to show a documentary about Ferrari.
Very nice. Was it
So
how Ferrari threw away the 2022 championship, per any
now
chance?
that would have been more entertaining. It was something about Enzo Ferrari.
But yeah,
I don't
no,
know what.
it once again brings up because we've seen it a lot. Like last year we had wet weather tires and we had wet weather races, and they got used. But there was obviously a cutoff point where even the wet weather tires couldn't do that. But this time around, it just kind of seemed like why I know we joked a lot about last week about Inters in monsoon conditions, but they seem to have taken us a bit too literally.
Well, that was Chris's stupidity.
Yeah. So yeah, we ended up with an hour delay of the whole race procedure, which meant we did still get a grid walk, which was kind of interesting, to have a grid walk even on a delayed start. But then it eventually got underway, was just a normal start. There was no Singapore 2017. Sorry, Chris. Um, but then, yeah, Checo just kind of disappeared off out in front, was kind of comfortable. It was a very, I kind of want to say like it was a bit tentative from a lot of the drivers because there was a lot of nearly moments,
Yeah,
but then there were also some very, very pedestrian moments where Alex Albon just slowly crept into the wall and lost his nose. Or Lewis Hamilton slowly going straight on into the barriers. And then Yuki Tsunoda saying, anything you can do, I can do faster, and absolutely cream crackering his car straight into those barriers.
but start with Latifi.
Yeah, it did. Latifi once again showcasing why he shouldn't have an F1 seat, and thankfully why he no longer has an F1 seat. I will remain critical of him. And one other driver that doesn't seem to know how rear view wing mirrors work. Him and Lance Stroll have caused more collisions from not looking in their mirrors than I think the rest of the grid combined. And at some point, you have to ask yourself, like, what's going on here? Do you have eyes and a brain that functions enough to comprehend that this thing shows you what's behind you, and if there's someone there, don't turn in. because once again, Latifi chopped across. Zhou, in fairness, had absolutely nowhere to go.
No,
It was
he
Latifi
had
and the wall. He hit the wall before Latifi hit him in an attempt to avoid Latifi. So, you know, but that was broken front right suspension, his race over immediately. And Latifi crawls all the way back round to the pits, and the team are just like, yeah, give up. So that was 2 retirements down already. And that was on, like, I don't know, lap 7, I want to say, somewhere around there. It was,
the first of many safety cars.
yeah. Still took them a while to bring out some of the safety cars, though. And I know that the guys that are race directors now came from World Endurance Championships and DTM, but just because the previous categories you raced was significantly slower paced in terms of it's a 24-hour race doesn't mean you can spend 24 minutes deciding on whether or not to bring out the safety car. Just get on with it. If the car is stopped and you've seen it's got broken suspension and is therefore not going to be easy to handle, and you need to put people out on track to remove said car, press the safety car button. It's Singapore. Bert Mylander was always going to be ready to go. Just send him out. Let him do his thing. Another thing on the safety car front was after Alex Albon's shunt into the wall, where the marshals were trying to remove his front wing. Apparently, that was a replay shot, but nowhere on the screen did it say replay. So either someone in the broadcast center is getting severely bollocked for not pressing the show the replay button, or someone in race control has some serious questions to answer over the fact that why it said green flags when we're watching marshals on track. What is going on there?
It's a gauntlet.
You go and get the wing now. You have 30 seconds. No, that was nuts. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt that was a replay, but at the same time, the evidence we were presented with was very much of the contrary. So we will see. I'm sure there'll probably be like 67 statements from the FIA over the next 2 days. We didn't endanger the lives of any of the heroic marshals and volunteers at the Singapore circuit.
I'm surprised they're from Birmingham.
Birmingham. No, I don't know why I went into that. But no, that was a weird one. What else happened? I mean, it just kind of seemed to be like every 5 minutes somebody else took an excursion into the runoff.
Yeah, Russell George hit Schumacher.
Yeah. That was definitely George's fault.
Yeah.
He moved under braking.
He paid the consequences as well.
Yep. First man lapped.
Yeah.
Classic George. Back to his Williams days.
He also had Max try overtake Lando many times.
Yeah.
And just go whee.
There was the whole Max Lando incident under the VSC restart as well. I think they were both being a bit naughty there because they'd sort of saved up some time to anticipate when it was going to go green. And then they realized they'd got it wrong, so I had to both slam on the brakes. And I think that needs to be clamped down on. I think there should be, because there's an earliest time of arrival for certain points of the track, and that's how they keep you in check for VSC. But I think conversely, there also needs to be a latest point of arrival to make sure that you're going a reasonable speed and not saving time like they were. Because that will just completely remove any of that situation, any of that sort of playing about with the time deltas, trying to anticipate things. Because you'll only have 2 or 3 tenths of a second to sort of to have that sort of movement. I guess I'd say probably half a second would probably be more achievable. But just having a latest time of arrival as well as the earliest just completely mitigates that.
Genius.
FIA, sign me up. I can revolutionize this sport.
Too much effort.
I mean, the programming's already there. It's literally just add another bit. It's like copy and paste that bit, change the title from earliest to latest, add a half-second delay to it, and you're done. Just waiting for all of the people that do coding to like shout at me in the comments to be like, actually, it's significantly harder than that.
Broken nerds.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I feel like that would be one thing to just, it would just solve that, wouldn't it?
On paper, it looks like it does.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the first time we've seen people trying to save up time for VSCs either. So I don't know. I feel if Max had absolutely clapped into the back of Lando, there'd be significantly more there would have been significantly more conversation about it though. But because nothing happened, it's all just kind of been forgotten. It's one of those things of like the Halo, we didn't get it until it was too late for certain drivers, did we? It's always one of these things that has to be after the fact rather than a preemptive measure. And for a sport that claims to be like the pinnacle and progressing things in so many different ways, like, well, just do it. You know? Not to be like all Nike on you or anything, but just do it.
Shine the ball.
I'm trying to think who else like made excursions because we had Lewis try a move on Seb and they get absolutely done in by Max. That was quite funny.
That was Lewis's own fault.
Yeah, like
he shouldn't have gone on the wet stuff.
But then when Lewis went off and then just rejoined in front of Max, Netflix is suddenly just like, and okay, like K-Mag received another black and orange flag, another meatball flag. Understandable, his end plate was hanging off at an angle, but why did the same flag take significantly longer for it to come out for Lewis when you could see his entire front end of his wing was dragging along the floor and sparking like crazy? All that takes is for just one bump and it just sticks in the road and then just pings off. He should have been called in straight away.
Didn't he pit straight away anyway?
No, he took a couple laps. So, yeah, it was a weird one. Because he went on the radio and was like, oh, yeah, look, car's intact, guys. And they were like, yeah, fine, whatever. And then he finally got the flag. And it's like, what? I've been watching him throwing fireworks down the streets of Singapore for the last 2 laps. Why? So, yeah. Also, I think Williams may have run out of front wings this weekend.
Yeah.
Because they put a new front wing on Latifi's car before they then just went, nah, retire it. And then Albon had his front wing, and then Albon retired anyway. So it's going to be a question mark over how many front wings they've got for Japan now.
We had the Alpines blow up as well.
McLaren back in 4th. Yeah, boy.
Not for long.
No, but we can milk it while it lasts. That was engine failure for Alonso and some kind of drivetrain failure for Ocon. That went bang in a pretty big way.
Yeah.
You didn't really see it when it was on board. It was just kind of like, oh, okay, something's just gone. And then they showed the off board, and it was just like this massive plume of smoke, and you're like, okay, yeah, that's not going to be an easy fix. Because like you see with some of them, like they're able to salvage certain bits of the engine or whatever. I think that's just a straight put it in the bin job.
There's probably something they could get.
Well, I don't know. It depends how much it's sort of how much damage the explosion did. Because like Carlos Sainz's Austrian engine that went bang, split the side pod of the car, and then set alight. I don't think there was much of that they saved. So I think how many? Because oh my god, how many retirements were there? Because we had 14 finishes, didn't we? So we had Zhou Guanyu, Nicholas Latifi, Fernando Alonso, Alex Albon, Esteban Ocon, and Yuki Tsunoda, and they were all the DNFs. And then George and Mick, and then Kevin, Bottas just outside the top 10. Yeah. And okay, right. Perez post-race penalty. Not a fan of this. Safety car infringements. He got a 5-second time penalty.
Well, when he told it to like speed up or whatever.
Dropping over, I think it was for dropping over 10 car lengths behind it. Here, let me just find the document. Offence car 11, offence car 11 second. Okay. Okay, so for falling more than 10 car lengths behind the safety car, he got a reprimand. And then for falling more than 10 car lengths behind the safety car, he got a 5-second time penalty and 2 penalty points.
Ooh.
I think, if anything, the safety car driving that slowly was actually more dangerous than it going faster, because they're on dry tires on a damp track. They need the heat in the tires. So I think Perez dropping 10 car lengths back just to try and get some heat in his tires was actually fair enough. But obviously the stewards didn't view it that way because, 10 car lengths. But at the same time, how many times have we seen it where Sir Lewis Hamilton, among many other drivers, has dropped more than 10 car lengths behind the car in front of him during certain procedures, and it just doesn't get punished?
Yeah, but he's done it twice.
It was the same safety car. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like the whole post-race penalty thing and having to wait 3 hours for the actual decision is a bit nuts. Like, just it detracts from the whole podium ceremony as well, because the drivers are up there knowing that, oh well, I'm in first place now, but I might get a penalty. So it's kind of like you're half-assing the celebrations almost.
You still go for it.
I mean, if it was me, yeah, because I'd probably never win anything in my life. So if I was up there, it'd be a minor miracle. And if I was summoned to the stewards, I wouldn't care. I crossed the line first. I'd walk off with the trophy, put it in a safety deposit box, and just never give it back. It's mine now.
Just walk into the meeting with the trophy and just slam it on the table.
You see this?
Yeah.
This is mine. And then just walk out again.
Yeah.
Oh. Cool. Should we talk Japan?
Yeah.
F1 returns to Japan for the first time in a good few years now. I say a good few years. It's only been a couple of years, but COVID. It feels longer than that though, for some reason, you know.
But
And this weekend is the first of, I think, two of the Pirelli tyre tests. So FP2 will be extended by half an hour to allow for testing of next year's tyre compounds. Um, good to see it back. The Japanese fans are always on a different level.
mental
The hats are just
quality.
nuts. They take they have such great passion for the sport that I feel like it's more disappointing that Honda's now not part of it, even though they're the title sponsor of this year's Japanese Grand Prix. And the engine in the back of the Red Bull is basically still a Honda. But you get my drift. It's not badged as a Honda. But I suppose this year it'll be Yuki Tsunoda's first go. So there should be a lot of support. I would expect to see a lot of AlphaTauri shirts in the grandstands. But then again, Ferrari is always extremely popular in Japan. So
That's quite. I feel like all of them are, to be fair.
I think the sport is just popular over there.
Yeah, I remember there being a load of McLaren fans with like McLaren Honda, and Jensen obviously had the affiliation with Japan and whatever.
BAR Honda.
Yeah,
I think anyone that Honda's been a part of gets support. So by this point, that's like most of the grid.
yeah.
But no, I think it'd be nice. It's nice for Yuki to be able to actually go to a home Grand Prix for once.
Yeah.
And he's confirmed for next year, so there's no like added pressure that he's got to perform or anything. Much in the same way that Zhou has now been confirmed for next year, which does mean that he will get to go to a home Grand Prix. Could you imagine that? They added Shanghai to the calendar and they were just like, yeah, we're not keeping Zhou.
Sharing.
But no, Suzuka's a good circuit. I think I'm interested to see how it's going to cope with these new cars. It's always been defined as a driver's circuit because it's technically demanding.
Yeah.
But with the one DRS zone, I think it'll prove a real challenge for overtaking for these spec of cars.
Yeah, 2019 wasn't really in.
No. But we shall see.
Yeah. It'd be mental.
Exactly. We could have another monsoon. Woohoo. I haven't actually looked at the weather forecast for it yet, so I don't know. Let's just do predictions. I'm really tired. I've been in bed all day with a fever and I'm slowly losing it. So
only 1 a.m. for me, so that'll be fun.
Fair enough. Ben, pole position.
Verstappen.
Yeah, that's who I've got as well. I'm going to go for a podium of Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz. Who are you going to go for?
Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez.
Okay. Chris has gone for Verstappen pole, Verstappen, Leclerc, Hamilton podium. Nia has gone for Leclerc pole, Sainz, Leclerc, Verstappen podium. Bold prediction?
Yuki top 10.
I'm so tired. I can't even be asked to like try and. Do you want to, for a bonus point, what position?
P10.
P10. Okay. I'm going to say there's going to be exactly 4 DNFs. And I'm not naming them because that's far too much effort. Lapdown Showdown, who you got?
Nicholas Latifi.
Of course. What lap?
Lap
there are
27.
27. Okay, there's 53 total. How many laps down?
1.
1. Okay. I'm going for Latifi. I'm going for 22, 2 laps down. Oh, I'm sure there's probably a lot that we haven't covered this week that we probably will cover in future weeks when people are back. But between illnesses and shortage of personnel, I think we're just going to call it there for this week. I'm tired. I'm still ill. Chris is ill. Nia's not doing so hot. Ben's on holiday. So yeah, we're 10-5
We're
podcast.
mudded.
10-5 podcast has flu season. Right. So with that said, thank you for listening and or watching. Like, rate, comment, subscribe, rate 5 stars, etc., etc. Been a while since I've done that bit. And we will see you all next time for our Japanese review. Goodbye.